Hey guys, it's Miss Tart, and today we're going to be talking about point of view and perspective. So first of all, let's talk about perspective. Perspective is the way characters view other people and events, and everybody has a different perspective. For example, I like pizza with pineapple on it, but Miss Pullen may not. So each character has a different perspective. They think about things differently. They have their own opinions. Two people or characters may have different perspectives on a test. Jonah didn't study for a test and he feels it's too difficult, whereas Casey studied for the test and she may think it's too easy. One character's perspective might be that they are a bully and they think it's okay to bully. Another character's perspective may be that they do not agree with bullying and don't think it's a good idea. So each character has their own perspective. For example, look at this picture. Some people might see a old lady while other people's perspective might see a young girl. It's all about perspective and everybody has their own. Next, let's recap on point of view that Miss Pullum talked about with you yesterday. So point of view is going to be who is telling the story. And you can figure that out by looking at the pronouns. So for first person, you are telling the story about yourself. So you're going to see words like I, me, we, us. Those are all signs that it's first person point of view. For third person, the narrator telling the story is not a character. They are kind of on the outside looking in, telling the story. So you would see words like he, she, they, them, listing the characters' names. Those would all be proof that it would be a third person. So next we're going to look at some pictures and write some different points of views and perspectives. So for this picture, it's my daughter Harper and my puppy Sadie. And so those are the two perspectives, Sadie and Harper, and they're going to have different perspectives. If we're going to write about this picture in first person, we could say, I really don't understand this furry puppy. She cries all the time and drinks out of a bottle instead of a bowl. She can't even play fetch. So that would be first person from Sadie's perspective, from the dogs. She's saying that she doesn't understand this furry puppy. But let's look about what first person would look like from Harper's perspective. Mom and Dad got me this new furry toy. It licks my face sometimes and makes loud barking noises, but I love it. So they have different perspectives, but they're narrating the same thing. Let's see if it was third person narration. The baby sat amazed next to her furry new friend, and even though the dog was unsure what to think, she knew it was now her job to protect her. So do you see how in third person you see things like they, she, he, them? You aren't a character in the story. You're kind of on the outside looking in and describing what you're seeing. Let's try another one. So in this picture, you have two different perspectives. You have the monster and the little girl. If we are going to write about this from first person, from the point of view of the monster, you might say, I stretched my long, bony fingers out from under the bed as I heard the little girl scream. If you were going to talk about it from the girl's perspective, you might say, I slowly leaned over my bed. I immediately grabbed my teddy and screamed when I saw the monster slowly crawling out from under my bed. We're describing the same scene, however, it's going to be from the different perspectives. And it was first person because we used the word I. For third person, let's see what we would put. The little girl sat frozen in terror and her heart pounded in her chest. The monster snickered as he heard her scream. So in this case, we see their pronouns he, she, and so we know that it's third person. And we also know it's third person because, again, the person is just describing what they are seeing from both perspectives, from both characters. Let's look at this picture. So in this picture, we have two perspectives again. We have the little boy and his grandpa. So if we were going to narrate this picture from a first person point of view, let's see who we think would be saying this. We raced down the street as fast as we could. I pedaled fast and giggled as I finally passed Grandpa and beat him to the finish line. So this would be first person from the little boy's perspective. We know that because it says I and it says he passed Grandpa. If we were going to talk first person through the grandpa's perspective, it might say, I may be old, but I'm never too old to play with my grandson. I smile as I watch him pedal his little red car in front of me. So again, that's both first person, but from the different perspectives. Let's talk about third. The little boy and his grandpa laughed as they played on their scooters and raced down the street together. We see those pronouns of his and their. So we know it's third person. And again, the scene is describing what both of them are doing. So next you are going to be completing a similar thing on teacher made. So I have the same example right here that I used with Sadie and Harper, but there's also 7 other scenes that you can choose from. So you're going to choose 3 of these scenes, only 3. You don't have to do all 7, just 3. You're going to choose 3 of these pictures that you want to complete, and you will fill out the perspectives, who's in the picture. You will complete a first person narration, meaning one person in the picture. For this one, you might tell the story from the first person of the polar bear or from the person standing there on the street. It doesn't matter. And then you'll complete third person. Tell what's happening from the outside looking in, describing what's happening to all the characters. So for example, on this one, the perspectives, who's in it? Well, we have the little boy, and we see 2 girls that are also riding the ride. So for first person, you may choose to write it from the little boy's perspective. I held on tight and gripped the handlebar. Again, with teacher made, it doesn't always text wrap and go to the next line. So you may not be able to see everything at once, but it's okay. It shows it fine on our end. So we know it's first person because I said I, and I'm describing it from the little boy's perspective. For third person, you would describe what's happening to all the characters. Sisters and the sisters and their brother rode the roller coaster. So you can get into as much detail as you want, but you are wanting to describe the picture. Again, you're going to label what perspectives, you're going to talk about it in first person, and then you're going to describe it in third person. You do not have to complete all 7. You only have to do 3. When you're finished, you need to hit I'm done. And it will say that the worksheet has not been completed just because it thinks that you have to fill out all 7 of them. Just go ahead and click OK as long as you have completed 3 of the pictures. And that's all you have to do. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day. Let us know if you have any questions.